It's your favorite auntie, Monique Judge, and this is Auntie Unfiltered. Now, today on Auntie Unfiltered, we're going to talk about a very important subject, and that is being politically awake and politically aware, right? So we are living in a really crazy time in this country. We just got a new president. We got rid of Donald Trump after 4 years, but the work is still not done, like not even halfway, not even a third of the way done. So it's important for us to all educate and arm ourselves as much as possible. And so to help with that, I've brought on a special guest. You may know her from seeing her on television. She's a political commentator and just an overall Black girl magic diva. Her name is Zerlina Maxwell. How are you, Zerlina?
I'm doing well. How are you? I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy you came. So talk to folks a little bit, first of all, about your background and what you do and why you think this field is important.
What I do is who I am. My dad told me when I was young, if you make your job something that doesn't feel like a job, like if it's just something you really like to do, then that you'll never feel like you're working. What I've done is just made my job the things that I'm passionate about.
It's a motivator, right? For people to get involved, to learn something, to understand that it's more than just, the presidential election every 4 years. Your local municipal elections matter. The midterm elections matter. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that can kind of change the tide for us?
So the first thing I think I want to start by saying is, a lot of folks are like, I want to get involved, so they become activists. And that's great. However, you can do more than that, right? You can run for office, you can volunteer in a campaign, you can elect people or elect activists like with Cori Bush, for example, and you can change and shape the world around you and the policies that way. So I just always look, I think being in Virginia for the Obama campaign sort of opened my eyes to the fact that, there are places where people understand this, that elections are always happening. I think the pandemic has done a lot for folks in sort of giving us a moment to sort of look back and be like, whoa, things are messed up. And it's not like, folks haven't been saying that for decades, generations. It's just that for the first time, I think a vast majority of Americans were like, oh, I see the problem too. I see that. I see that systemic inequality that activists have been talking about.
I feel like a way for people to become more aware and for them to kind of like help foster this change and affect change is to actually get involved right there. Absolutely. On the boots on the ground, like in whatever capacity they can.
Absolutely. Campaigns need Black people to be in the room. Often you sort of, if you've ever watched The West Wing or any political show where there's sort of campaigns depicted, there is sort of a khaki wearing, sort of more affluent, because, it's not like you're getting paid $1 million. So the people who are working are privileged enough to be able to work for a little bit less money. And some campaign headquarters are in major cities, so obviously cost of living is an issue. And so one of the things I always say is that, they need you in the room, because you don't know what you don't know.
Because you're right, like it's more than just casting your vote. It's more than tweeting a hashtag, although those forms of activism definitely have their place, and I'm not being dismissive of them. But when you say, go and sign up to work on a campaign to help, like basically we need to stop looking to be handed a seat at the table and just go grab that motherfucker.
Just go sit in the seat. The seat is empty. Nobody's in the seat. Go sit in the seat or make room at the table for yourself, because your voice is needed. If you're looking at sort of, the sort of party politics that we are doing here in America, and you're like, my voice is missing, my perspective is missing, they are not saying the right things on these issues, they don't seem to understand, it's because they don't have somebody there who's you. Every person has a unique lived experience to bring to the table. And I just think that more of us have to look at politics not as something that we observe from over here, but something that we participate in.
What would you recommend for people who now they've watched this and they say, you know what, she's right, I want to get out there and do something? What are some first steps you would recommend for people to take?
On the local level, it's a good point. It's like, find out when your city council meeting is and who is the person that decides where a stop sign goes. Who decides that? And then try to get in that person's face, get in that person's space rather, in the meeting, in the Zoom, so that your question, your concern can get posed. And that's on the local level. And I'm not saying that one meeting is going to do it, but if you bring 10 of your neighbors that are all very upset about the stop sign, then that's called organizing.
I feel motivated now. Like, whose campaign can I get on? Because, that's real,
there are
right?
2 Black women. I can tell you, I can give you two options, right? We have never in America ever had a Black woman governor. Stacey Abrams ran in Georgia, and everybody knows what happened there. In the state of Virginia, we have 2 Black women here running for governor. They're both named Jennifer. Their names are Jennifer McClellan and Jennifer Calfoy. And if one of them wins, they will be the first Black woman governor in the history of the United States of America. There's history to be made out here.
Well, thank you again so much. Everybody
Thank
be sure
you.
to check out Zerlina everywhere on SiriusXM, on Peacock, on YouTube, wherever you can find her, read her book. Thank you so much, sis.
Thank you.
And for y'all in the audience, as always, I want to hear from you. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, if you need advice, or even if you have a topic that you think Auntie should discuss, or hey, a guest I should invite, let me know. Let me hear from you at auntiesubmissions@theroot.com. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.